May the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahavah's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect tonight's message. Amen. Hola, mi nombre es Kofi. ¿Cómo está? Bonjour, c'est Kofi. Ça va? Ni hao, namaste. Osayana kituya. Ohio. I see you. Manut. Wagwan. Kamsa. Kamsamida. Ciao. Aloha. Habarigani. Akuaba. Madaasi. Etese. Jambo. Bibini Kofi. Nina Franco. Katana na Wewe. Um, Barakalat Sham Yahavah. Shalom Yahashel at Tasadaik. At night, headed to servants of Christ. Hello, everybody. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being a voice of the voices and speaking the unspoken. Thank you for being with us one more again. Appreciate love you. We hope that everything is well with you and your families, and continuing to move as Yahavah has us. Rosh Chodesh Tavat. Rayshan Shalom, Yam Alav Shalom. Shalom, peace be upon you. If you're following the Israelite calendar, it is in fact the first day of the new month, and therefore the new first day of the week. And if not, Shalom to you, Shalai Shai Shalom, or Yam Gemal Shalom. May peace be upon you on this third day of the week if you're using Tuesday as your day of the week, or going 6 p.m. into next day. But welcome to everybody. Appreciate love you. Hopefully all is well with you, and hopefully everybody can be on track. Sister Omika, I think Minister Shante had tried to reach out to you a while ago, so I don't know if maybe she texted or something, you missed it, but I'm going to try and send you guys each other's info again. And but I think she actually had tried to reach out to you a little while ago, so I know you were saying you wanted to try and get in connection with her, contact her. So if you can, just look out for her text or the next one she sends, or we'll see about seeing if she can get in touch with you. But thank you all. Appreciate, love you all. Hopefully all is well with everyone. We're going to jump right in. We're still talking about the music industry in these evening sessions. Praise Yah. And prayerfully, we'll see you guys tomorrow in the evening. So tomorrow we will have no evening live session. So if you're looking for us tomorrow for the live session in the evening, since tomorrow is watch night service and the music's going to start about 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern New York time, we just won't have a live session normally at 8, since we'll be going on Zoom. So look for the Zoom link, or look for the Google Calendar invite update to be there for you all. That link should be there for you, and we've been posting it in different places. So I've been trying not to post anything except Women in Red and Watch Night Surface stuff. So it should be, for the most part, the very first thing you see on most of these platforms. So if you just look on the platforms, Facebook, IG, TikTok, I believe, I think I put it up on TikTok as well. I'm not sure. I think it's on YouTube in the community section as well. If you look up in the community section on the YouTube page, and of course, look up the Google Calendar invite, and I will try my best to text everybody. The music's going to start tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern New York time. I'm excited. We're going to have our ministerial staff, everybody get up and preach a word. We're going to have our children. Praise Yah. Some of our babies will be involved in the service as well. Some persons will use their musical gifts. We're going to have a lot of great stuff happening, and we're going to end the night going into prayer. So we're excited about what the Most High is doing, and prayerfully you all can join us from wherever you may be. I tried to make sure I sent out further instructions for those who are involved, and sent out a little, list or program of sorts for you guys to be able to look at. So prayerfully, you guys will be up there. We'll try to even have some nice little historical pictures for you guys to look at during the praise and worship. Once again, the event itself starts at 9 p.m. Eastern New York time, but the music will be playing 30 minutes prior. So we'll have a nice little praise and worship with some stuff showing where we come from as a people, and prayerfully you guys will enjoy. Amen. So thank you all for being on. Appreciate, love you. Thank you for everybody doing stuff behind the scenes. We've been having some great meetings. I'm going to be sending out to Elder Alma and Sister Renee some stuff regarding forms to fill out, because we got a lot of stuff coming up, like Passover, and we have a lot of things coming up besides this, but just as far as Passover, the Memorial Day weekend meetup so Passover in Arizona, Memorial Day weekend meetup in DC. And then we're also looking at having, obviously, getting some people to start getting things together for Feast of Tabernacles and other things. So start looking for some of that stuff to start popping up. Calendars are already out and ready to go. So let us know. You should be getting your virtual copies if you haven't received them already. If you've ordered one, you should be getting those. Basically, we want to make sure you have them by tomorrow for those who ordered them already, but you can always order one. The virtual ones will be there first. We'll start looking at sending out physical copies for another donation for shipping and handling, but we'll look at getting that stuff out to you guys ASAP. I'm on. And we're excited about getting into this hashtag a safe place. There's still one more day left tomorrow, so we hashtag expect the blessing. And we hashtag finish strong. There's still one more day. Praise Yah. There's always day. So do what you have to do and be ready so we can get into this safe place. Well, let's go ahead and get ready to do our Bible pledge. If you'd like to go ahead and do the Bible pledge with us, if you're able to stand to your feet in reverence of Yahavah's word, and then we'll jump right into our series and continue. Let's say shalom to everybody. Peace. If you were joining us on YouTube or TikTok, how you doing, Minister Stephen? How you doing, Jared, Auntie Marion, Nadine, Monica, Keith, Sean, V. Everybody, thank you for being on. Big Brother Thomas, Omika, Michelle, Bruder Charlie, O'Keller, everybody. All right, how you doing, Michael? If you're still on with us, Denise, MMG, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Sister Jessica, Boss Lady, we appreciate, love you. We thank you guys so much for being on with us on today. All righty. So here we go. We're gonna get ready to do our Bible pledge and jump right in. So if you'd like to join us, feel free. You can just put your right hand in the air and just repeat after me. This is my Bible. This is my sword. And this will I trust. For Yeshua is Lord. No sword of God shall ever be heard. For this is my Bible. And this is Yah's word. Acham Yahavah. Aman, which is in Yahavah's name, his Shem, his authority. Amen. All righty. So we're continuing talking about the music industry today. And I want to focus on the things as far as the music industry tonight, at least what Holy Ghost has put in my heart for this evening, is for us to go down the route of looking at how these things affect our community, the lyrics of these songs and different things that we're going through. And we've been talking about the music industry, but also too talking about, if we look at this industry from context of who's in charge of it, we know it's demonic, a lot of demonic stuff, and the devil is the prince of the air, therefore the prince of the airwaves. How you doing, Sister Beck? And so as we're going through all these different items and looking at all these different things, we want to ensure that we're looking at them correctly and looking at them profoundly and looking at them properly, and having proper discussion and seeing how they affect us and how we can be better in this. How you doing, Sister Shima? I'm also a reminder too, I'm sorry, I didn't say this this Shabbat or Saturday coming up, at 2 p.m. Eastern New York time, we're going to have an SOC community meeting. We would like all hands on deck. Also, 2 ministerial staff. Don't forget on Thursday, we have our ministerial meeting, the first one of the year. So we want to make sure, and that includes the minister selects. We would like for you guys to be on. And we'll talk about some things as far as vision, some things that we need to make sure we're held accountable to, and some things that start from the head on down. But we need those of you who are involved to be heavy participants in. How you doing? I missed somebody. Brother Ali. How you doing, Brother Ali? All right. So in the music industry, one of the things that that we don't think about is how the music industry is used to break down community, to break up family, to break down community, to have you focus on things that don't make sense, to have man against woman, woman against man, to get us away from being righteous, from getting us away from being correct, right? You have to realize anything, and I know I'm going to be hip hop centric, or even somewhat R&B centric, or maybe even black folk music, so to speak, centric, maybe even gospel music, so to speak, centric, because I'm obviously more familiar with those, but I do listen and play different genres of music, rock and roll, classical music, heavy metal, country, etc. And even in those, as much as we pretend like it's not, and how you doing, Sister Sabrea, even though we pretend that it's not, these things are very, it's very common across the board that music is used to shift what Yah's agenda is and pour in another agenda across the board, right? We forget that persons in R&B sing country songs and remake them, and persons in country music sing R&B songs or hip hop songs even and remake them, right? We forget that if you're looking at sexuality being, hypersexuality being problematic in the in regular life, then guess what? It's going to be problematic in music. If you're somebody who grew up with certain styles of music, and especially when it was video music. We talk about now how all of the music, women have to be this one type of woman or so-called exotic woman, etc., who's showing everything. And we forget, that if you go back and look at Cameo, yeah, I'm mentioning Cameo, early 80s. You go back and look at some stuff as far as Cameo and stuff, and look up Word Up in that video, right? And you'll see a lot of stuff that's already, we're seeing stuff in there. Look at Michael Jackson's videos, where there are some that are great, but look at what he's showing himself to be and how we look the other way, and how that kind of influences persons to change things up. Look at how Little Kim has changed over the years. Look at what we made Little Kim and Foxy Brown to be in their day, right? Look at what we made Nicki Minaj out to be, look at what has followed in her footsteps more recently, as far as your Cardi B or your Meg Thee Stallion, your Sexy Red, or your forgive me, I can't keep up with all of them, Gorillas, and who's the girl who was around, Ice Spice. If some of you even know these names that I'm talking about, I barely know them, to be honest. I'm starting to get up in the age where I can't really keep up with some of the stuff. But even as far as persons that we've lifted up, if you know about the Little Yachties, right, Little Dirks, the Kodak Blacks, who literally are high and smacked out of their mind. I'll try to limit that language because I know we'll get in trouble. But how you doing, brother TJ? But look at how you doing, brother Jermaine. But look at these persons and where they are and what's going on with them. We're not admitting to or seeing this problematic behavior. Very problematic behavior that is there and is in music. And looking at the influence, and these things of the world are going to be put into, what's one of the easiest ways to get it into the world is obviously the music, your headphones, and even to put it on social media. And who's on social media a lot of times without anybody having any checks or balances are these babies. How you doing, Sister Alyssa? Right? And how you doing, Judas Corner? Thanks for being part of the community. So we see that this behavior is problematic, right? For example, and it's hidden in plain sight. Some of the persons that you lift up the most are the persons that we just turn a blind eye, and then once it's in your face, or then once it's supposedly so problematic, we have to take time out to look at it. Now all of a sudden we go, oh, that's so terrible. Diddy was in front of our face the whole time. That's so terrible what R. Kelly did. Well, if you were in Chicago, or if you just looked at what R. Kelly was doing and paid attention to it, you can't act like you never saw this coming. Right? You said kind of go for the ears and the eyes. Yeah, and the ears and the eyes. And what is even 3 things we're supposed to be careful about according to the word? Be careful about the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Be careful about what 3 things? The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Why? Because when you're not looking at these things, right? If you're not careful, right? You lust with your eyes, right? Even coveting something that you want that's not for you, but you want it, you lack it, or you think you lack it, but it's not what you need. So even the lust of the flesh, how many girls can I get? Or if I sound like, back in the day, we sound like Biggie or Pac, they got all the girls. Biggie said, I stay coochie down to the socks. He said, I can be black and ugly as ever. However, I stay coochie down to the socks. That sounds great and clever until you like, well, what does that even mean to be coochie down to the socks? How you doing, Mikey Mike? Right? How you doing, Kennedy? Thanks for being part of the community. What does that even? What does that mean? What does that even do? Is that a positive thing? We forget. Biggie had problems with his own children or with his own marriage, right? We see that becomes problematic, and then later on being raised, or the fact that Pac and Biggie aren't even here. But everybody who's coming out of hip hop, who are you still? No matter what your top 5 is, you're supposed to always say. You're supposed to always say what? They top 5. Even if you don't think they top 5, you're supposed to say what? They top 5. How you doing, Ricardo? How you doing, Minister Selector Crystal? So in all these different things, right, we see a lot of things that are dangerous. And we even used to look bad at persons like back in the day. Now everybody's talking about music empowerment, owning your own stuff. But if you know, back in the day, they used to try to clown LL Cool J because they used to try to tell him, they used to try to rap against him when they would have beefs back and forth. They try and use lyrics to tell him, oh, look at him. He owns his own stuff. He's trying to be a businessman. Why wouldn't you want to own your own stuff? Right? These are things that are put in the music industry. And we forget the music industry is not really controlled by us. You have to sell your soul. You said that's dealing with a lot of spirits. Yeah. And what else is mentioned? If you're gonna be in there, you got to make sure that you got yourself. Matter of fact, remember, I was gonna say VH1. That's not correct. MTV Cribs. By the way, nobody on MTV Cribs ever showed their crib, even if they could afford a nice crib. You never saw their crib. They always rented out a crib. That's why it was always so clean. It was always so like nobody lived there and stuff. If you notice, and you look in the refrigerator, there was nothing in there, but they make sure that they put a bottle of Cristal, or eventually, like nowadays you see Ciroc, or different things like that. But you always got to have a drink in there. You can't just go on MTV Cribs and have whatever. You got to have your drink. You got to have that refrigerator. If it's empty, who cares if there's food in your refrigerator? That's not what the life. But what you need to have in your refrigerator, according to all these lyrics and stuff, is you got to have that drink in there, right? Even if you ain't got no behind, you got to make sure that you twerk. Ask Miley Cyrus. I'm sorry. I know that's some of y'all girl or whatever. I'm just saying. Used to be back in the day, if you was going to shake something, at least you had to have something, right? I know that they always do that with certain groups of persons in the 80s and 70s and stuff, but used to be you supposed to have something. Now ain't nobody got nothing now, or you got to get the implants, right? Or Kim Kardashian and her sisters and stuff like that. They keep having all these persons, and they take hip hop and they date all the hip hop stars, or they date all these persons that are popular somehow, some way in hip hop, and they throw them to the side. And we don't want to be honest about the fact that like there's a perceived thing. And by the way, it's perceived that this is necessary because the persons who actually are responsible in their culture for promoting your culture, the culture vultures, that's what they think sells. And we don't talk about this stuff, but they're going to promote certain things because they believe that that's what sells, right? They put NWA together, a whole fake group. The only person that really from the streets is Eazy-E. Only person actually from the streets doing what he's saying. And they uplifting and glorifying this stuff because it's supposed to sell. KRS-One out here giving y'all gems, and you ain't going to hear him out here. You got to pay attention. You got to look for him. But the other ones who's going to give you whatever, oh yeah, they'll give you all that stuff, right? So when we talk about these things, think about even some of the lyrics. Like I said, not just Biggie Smalls, but Biggie has some other problematic lyrics. Talking about that he said that, I have to be nice about what I'm saying, right? But y'all, some of you who know the lyrics, you know exactly what I mean. Biggie was out here saying some pretty, well, let's just call it what it is. He was out here as straight and as heterosexual and as red pillars, to be honest, as he seemed to be. He was out here with some really questionable lyrics. How you doing, Jay? How you doing, Minister Smaler, right? Like Biggie out here talking about, girl, you look so good. This is what he said, right? For whatever reason, we gave him a pass. I'm sorry, TikTok. I see the signal's not that great for y'all. Hold on 1 second. My fault. I forgot to put the signal back on. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys on TikTok can get a better signal now. I forgot that I didn't have you guys on the right signal for the live session. But so when you sitting up here, and how you doing, Sister Snett, you see Biggie out here talking about, girl, you look so good. He said he would suck. This is what he said. He'd suck on your daddies. And we just, like, that's a wild line. Or he has a skit where he's in the bed. If y'all go back and listen to the albums, I ain't making stuff up. Or, girl, or talking about he was in the bedroom with I don't know, I guess, well, I'll just say it, a transsexual person. Right? That's the skit. Or he has in another skit where he's saying that the girl wouldn't have sex with him unless he went number 2 on her. And so he says he literally got on the bed and bent down. He said he cocked over and he did number 2, and they're laughing the whole time. This is stuff that's in there, and yet we lift it up like, oh yeah, we need to listen to this. But that was that was Biggie. We didn't talk about that part of Biggie. Right? LL Cool J came right behind Biggie talking about what was it? What was that line? I used to quote it too. I'm glad I don't have it in my head anywhere, but it was a crazy line on when they did the Flavor in Your Ear remix with Craig Mack. And what was LL Cool J came up behind them and said, something Blutitious, Stevie. He said Stevie's delicious, right? Something like that. And we just go, we ain't say nothing, you know. Talked about having Tims in the air. And when we say that this stuff is happening and how is this getting in and how is all this stuff turning so this and that and where is this stuff sneaking in? It's been in for a long time, right? For righteousness purposes only, right? For educational purposes only, right? How you doing, Sister Mignon? But these are things that have been there, and we just kind of turn a blind eye to it. We allowed Pac to say the things that he said, and get away with it because he said a lot of B words and he said a lot of this and a lot of that. But he talked about how he get around and all this stuff. But we forgot, it because we go, oh yeah, well, he did talk about Brenda got a baby. Me and my girlfriend talking about him and his gun. Right? All I need in this life of sin is me and my girlfriend. When he talks about I love finger effing you, all of a sudden I'm hearing thunder when you bust a nut. He talking about that sound, right? That thing that gun makes when it goes off. But we just, these are things. And look, I get that's poetic to talk about a gun like that. But we're not even thinking about the spirit of it and how does that do something. And Pop was somebody that had some righteous takes, Brenda's got a baby, even though I guess lyrically you could say maybe it's not as great as some of his other stuff and the beat's not as hard as some of the other stuff he did. But Brenda's got a baby is still one of my favorite joints of all time. But we uplift that stuff more than we do the other stuff. We talked about all time. We talked about before. We've gone over the lyrics. Jada Kiss. What was Jada talking about? I forget. What's that song we went over before with Jada and the Locks? I had to look it up. It's my fault. If it comes to me, it comes to me. But this stuff has been in the industry for a long time. Songs like I've talked about it before. Bart Simpson on the Simpsons sung a song "My Ding-a-Ling," and I thought they made that up for the show. Come to find out, Chuck Berry was singing that. Yeah, boy, back in the day, Chuck Berry on the guitar, having that foot out, going across stage the whole way, and Chuck Berry was on guitar, right? But he was out there and he would have him sing. The crowd was singing a cappella. Right, the Isaac brothers were finding creative ways of talking about orgasm. And by the way, the My Ding-a-Ling thing came out before Chuck Berry was out. He got that from somebody else. One of our people was a sister, an older sister, but was singing that back in the day. So we have this weird thing where we don't realize what has been done through the music industry and the amount of damage that's been done. Right, the amount of stuff that we kind of just look to the side of because hey, that's my jam. It sounds great. Like that's how you can have a song everybody dancing to, and somebody could literally be saying to the windows, to the walls. Y'all know the lyrics. To the sweat drip down my balls. Have all these, and that was the nice version, right? The other version says even more scandalous stuff. Have all these females crawl. Have all. Come on now, skeet, right? And persons were dancing to this in high school. Person was dancing to this when they was little, and nobody wanted to talk about it, or nobody acted like it. You said the song "Pound Town" was made back in the day. I mean, could have been. I don't know. I had to see that, but it wouldn't be shocking because we just act like this stuff didn't exist. But you could have this whole thing, and everybody turn a blind eye to it or whatever, right? Same yin yang twins. Wait till you see my aunt, and that was the nice version, right? It was actually wait till you see my D. And this stuff is promoted, right? You said they claim to have an edited version. Yeah, you remember hearing that on the bus as a child. Yeah, and I mean that was stuff that was there. We were listening to this stuff. Everybody and their mama knew that this was wrong, but we was gonna listen to it, no matter what. Right, and it was okay. And people keep making excuses. So now we're in a situation where a Sexy Red coming up with the Pound Town now. Everybody's acting like they flabbergasted by this, but this is something that's just continued. There's still persons, right? and it becomes problematic. If you want to know where these babies are getting the stuff from, look at the music and the person. And here's the problem with one of the verses that are put out and the mindset of it. You said they escalated the music for each coming generation. Yeah, how you doing, double OG, triple OG? So look at all this stuff that's going on, right? As it escalates and as it really just is becoming more clear, because now you got social media. So for a lot of this stuff, it's like when people say, man, when I was growing up, none of this stuff was actually, a lot of this stuff was happening. When I was growing up, everybody wasn't into winter solstice. That's what Christmas was, right? You just didn't research, or the stuff couldn't be put out to you at such a rate. And your algorithm, you have more control to a certain degree. This is one of the things that is great about social media. You can actually control, especially if you know how to do it. Even if you don't, choose what you want to watch. Use that thumbs up, that thumbs down, right? Swipe past stuff, hit that dot, and when it says, gives you options, say not interested. You ain't got to report people and all this stuff. Just put not interested. I have to go through my child stuff. I go through Solomon stuff quite a bit, and I'll look and I'll be like, man, ain't nothing on here that I really want him to watch, right? Because if there's stuff that's geared towards him to take his mind off of what we're trying to teach him. So guess what? I go through there, not interested, block this channel. I don't want this, right? Don't put this on the screen again. Refresh it. Make sure you refresh it. If you're doing YouTube, you got to refresh it, or else they'll just put that stuff back up. So you refresh the screen so you can see what's up there. You might want to take some more stuff up there and take time out to do that, right? But this stuff, anything that's happening, one of the biggest problems with it is that a lot of these persons who are artists, unfortunately, we fell for the okie doke that Minister Malcolm Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X, told us was going to happen a long time ago. How you doing, Sister Knight? He told us a long time ago that we are the only people who keep saying that our superstars should be our leaders. Now, I'm one that believes that you should defend your superstars. As much as I just said something bad about Chuck Berry, the king of rock and roll. He's not the originator of it, but he's the king of rock and roll. But what they say about Elvis, right? The Beatles, Eric Clapton, on them, they're going to say Chuck Berry. Who's the best guitar player of all time? Jimi Hendrix. I believe we should support our own. I believe we should make sure that we believe in what our own have to say, right? But I'm just saying, ultimately, right, we are one of the only groups of persons, if not the only group of persons, that think that because somebody's out in front and a superstar makes a lot of money and you always see him, that means that we should follow what they have to say, right? Or that they should be a representative of us. And that's not the case. That shouldn't be the case. Everybody now talking about Denzel Washington, and he went to church and he got baptized. He's talking about he's going to dedicate his life to God now and all this stuff. And to be honest with you, one of the things that came up in my mind, I was like, I kind of just looked at it like this, side eye, because I was like, well, wasn't he the person always preaching? But we forget he's an actor. And he does what is necessary to sell stuff. And by the way, think about when he even did it. He tried to say, because Gladiator wasn't selling that much and everybody was coming against him and they didn't like the fact that the black man was playing the character. And then they went to Rome and then he went on a show. There was a show, I forget, I think it was called like gay show, like literally something like that, like gay pride or pride show or something like that. And he goes on there to talk about the movie. And all of a sudden he says, oh, we had a kissing scene on there. And the director and everybody's like, there ain't no kissing scene with Denzel Washington. And they're like, no, they took it out because they were so afraid of Denzel kissing or whatever. Now, this is the same Denzel that I know I'm going back in the day, but the same Denzel that when he did the movie with Julia Roberts, Pelican Brief, he was like, I'm not going to kiss Julia Roberts because he didn't want it to look bad to his female fan base. But now that he's trying to sell stuff and you can't do that nowadays, now you got to go ahead. Now they said, well, was ancient Rome gay? That's what they said. The question they asked him was, ancient Rome gay? And so he goes, oh, I was kissing somebody. He got backlash from that. Now all of a sudden he needs to show up at a church, get baptized, and say he's dedicating his life to God, whatever God he serves, right? This same Denzel Washington, I remember Denzel Washington Training Day. I remember Denzel Washington in the glory tier, and he actually said in an interview that he was possessed by spirits. That's how he got the glory tier to fall, right? But we keep looking at these persons to be our leaders. You said he was in south of France kissing a girl who wasn't his wife. I didn't know about that one. I didn't know about that one, Auntie Man. Right? And he's supposedly supposed to be the family man. Da da da. You know, same thing. You know, we and Charles Barkley. You know, even though Charles Barkley be on some crazy stuff sometimes and be saying some wild stuff because he's not as educated as he probably believes he is. But Charles Barkley told you a long time ago he's not your role model. You said, who was he that he dedicated to it before? Exactly, right? When he was saying all that stuff. And remember, Will Smith slapped so-and-so, and he went back to saying, you know, the devil, you know, he gets all pious and sits up and, well, you know, the devil, he doesn't want you. He doesn't come after you until you get to a high point and all this stuff. And everybody go, oh, Denzel, he preaching the word. Denzel ain't preaching nothing. Denzel know how to sell a movie. And I'm not mad at them for it. I think we should allow persons, like you should. This is one of the things that y'all showed me a long time ago. Allow somebody to be who they are. Allow somebody to be where they are. Even when you love somebody where they are. I can't love you where you ain't. Right? It's actually ridiculous. It's demeaning, and it's something that's not going to help you nor I. Right? I can only love you where you are. I love you where you show up. If you don't want no love and you don't show up, I can't love you, baby. Right? If you don't show up where you are, I can't love you, baby. I wish I could love you, but if you ain't even where you're supposed to be, or if you aren't even in reach of my love, how can I love you? That's why I don't feel guilty when I teach. We can't save everybody because I can't love everybody. Not everybody, right? I'll love you best as I can, but if you want to be 75 miles away, my love is limited. I can pick up a phone, I can mention your name, I can pray for you, but it gets to be a certain place to where my love, you know, is not Yah's love to where it is the love of Yah, but hopefully get the context. I can't love on the level of Yah to where my love is limitless. And even his love has bounds because it has boundaries because his love is attached to the kingdom. But we had this weird thing where we're trying so hard to allow these persons to be our leaders. This, my brother and sister, is when somebody like a Drake becomes problematic. This is when Drake becomes problematic. How you doing, Zahara? What you talking about, Pastor Kofi? Drake becomes problematic because you're looking for him to be something that he never should have been. Drake is not your leader. Not just because he's not for the United States of America and all y'all doing that weird stuff. I think you need to get out of that thing that, hey, somebody's from a different point where the West owns this and you arguing over the plantation. Right? That whole thing is wild and the thing to me. I get why I get West Coast and blah, blah. He ain't even American and he's doing that. Now we're talking about how he's being used to do some of the things he's doing. And yeah, for sure, we can have that conversation. But let's be honest. Drake is problematic because Drake is presented to you as somebody you should follow. You buy Drake's music, not just because it sounds great. You buy Drake's music because he's been presented as somebody you should follow. This is why Drake was really heavy into the sisters to begin with. They do this all the time. The guys from the S Word and Gig show, they got in trouble on the Andrew Schultz show. They got built up by the sisters. The sisters are Black women, our Israelite women, our Negro sisters. They are the ones that are presented all the time. Right. And if we need to get something moving, Kamala Harris got to run for president, you get the sisters together. See, Kamala Harris, she means serious business because she got all these Black women to raise $1 million. How you doing, Minister Select Raj? How you doing, Brother Lamar? Right. So in our mind, oh, that must be, you know, she's got to be great because no. They used the Black women. Drake did that. And Drake followed the same script that the other leaders do when they need you to do something. They got the sisters. Drake was sitting up there and everything about Drake, all the sisters would tell me. And I'm not going to say I was anti-Drake or anything. Seriously, I said this back before everybody was saying stuff. Drake has never been somebody that I really don't know. I can't say I don't know any Drake songs but honestly, like verses and stuff, I don't know Drake songs. And the only song I really ever rocked with was the one way back in the day, right? I Better Find You Loving. Kind of sort of listen to used to call me on my cell phone and all that stuff. Well, yeah, I get to play on words. I stay Coogee or Coogee down to the socks while saying I stay Coochie down to the socks, right? So that was a double entendre, right? That's not lost on me completely. But yeah, I get the context, but I'm just saying, right? Black and ugly, however, right? So that's a play on words, double entendre. He played Coogee. He's Coogee down to the socks. Yes, he's also Coochie down to the socks, right? Double entendre. But I'm just saying, So there is a lot of that happens, sure. That's wordplay. But what I'm saying is somebody going back to Drake. Drake is somebody who is in fact somebody who never was a leader. And if we had just realized that, then you shouldn't have been surprised that an actor who started finally getting music to be put out acted a part. By the way, all these persons are acting a part. Just about. It's very rare that these persons are actually telling you the truth about their experience. You think that everybody is 50 Cent? Right? 50 Cent got shot up, 50 Cent in the shooting, shooting back and forth with Game, stuff like that. You think all of them, that's their actual story? They all gangsters, they all on the streets. Not everybody's Scarface from Houston. Right? Not everybody's from there. And even some of those cats, the real cats who are from there, they trying their best to get out. Right? A lot of them cats, they trying to, because the goal is to get off the streets. Right? Them cats will be talking about, whenever I go back and they this and they that and blah, blah, whatever. Why? Like for real. Like Fat Joe. Okay, Fat Joe's talking about my mama, she still lives in the project. Why your mama still living in the projects, Fat Joe? You live in Miami, my guy. And look, I know you was Joey the Crack. You the realest of real. I know. I'm not even joking about that. If you know about Joey the Crack, right? That's the reason why Joey the Crack. That's why they called him Crack, because of what he was out there doing and selling. I'm sorry, Dr. T, if I didn't say hello, shalom to already, and Tamara and Minister Tamara. Right? But at the same time, Joe, why is your mama still, and if she is, then are you making sure that the people that she lives around are doing better? How you doing, Brother Omar? Right? Like the goal is not to keep the stuff in the same situation. The hood should get better. Than if you're going to have your money in there, it should get better. The education should get better. I know he owns some businesses and stuff, and he hired a couple of persons, but are you just basically doing the same thing that others have done to your community? And I know there's some FBA cats that are really mad at Fat Joe and he really mad at them or whatever. But ultimately, if he's Cubano, he's us, even if he don't want to act like it all the time. So, but we build these persons up. So when Drake came in, we forgot this is an actor. And then all of a sudden he went from, hey, I love black women, to now all of a sudden I need to become a pop star, to now all of a sudden I need to become the hardest guy in hip hop while being a pop star. It's just more of the same. But this is a huge problem, is that we're allowing these persons to act. And even the ones that aren't acting, look at how their life ends. If they're really in the game, if they're really who they say they are, and they continue to try to be in that life, their lives get taken. How many hip hop stars lose their lives? Yeah, they got to keep that money flowing, right? How many hip hop stars actually lose their lives now? Hip hop stars are losing their life 19, 20, 21, 22. 25 is about the most. They're making it. And that's just because of the stuff that they taking. Lil Wayne has years of lean in this system. Look at how he be leaning now. Look at how he talks. Look at how certain things that he's doing. Look at how his mind goes. Look at how he handled the whole Super Bowl thing recently. You see? So this stuff, we got to realize the music industry is just another connection. As Minister Malcolm taught us a long time ago, look, these persons are not your leaders. These persons are not your leaders. They're not. Right? These persons are not your leaders. These persons are not fighting for you. We should not, and watch this, that means we should not expect for them to speak for us. You hear what I'm saying? How you doing, CC? I'm not expecting for these persons to be dynamic in their defense of my diaspora. I'm not expecting, just because somebody accepts an award and says they want to give honor to God, that has anything to do with Elohim. Right? I'm not expecting, because Kendrick put a Bible verse in something, that I shouldn't think to myself that means that it's okay when he wears a crown of thorns on his head. or when he says he is the Elohim. I should realize that I shouldn't look for Jay-Z, who's burnt every bridge that he's crossed, right, to make it to where he is. I shouldn't expect that Jay-Z doesn't really believe that he's Jehovah. And that when he does a demonic dance with a devil worshiper, that's just something he's doing in jest, or he just did it or whatever. No, like these persons were I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to say they're not smart, they're not intelligent, but let's be honest. In certain manners, these persons were already uneducated. Now they have a platform, and because they have that they made a certain amount of money, we want to listen to them speak. Why? We don't lack that. We don't need that. Why do we lack? No offense, but why do we lack Fat Joe voice? What are we lacking in him speaking on anything concerning our leadership? I don't follow him. No shade. If this ever were to get to Fat Joe, I hope that he realizes I'm not saying you can't rap. I'm not saying you can't have a business. I'm saying that as far as my people, you're not a leader. Right? All these podcasts that persons have or whatever, we're tuning into stuff that have nothing to do with the betterment and enhancement of our people. If they can dance with the devil, now they're going to cry with him later. Hey, that's a word, right? And they are bold with their wickedness. I'm just saying, as much as we just give Biggie a pass, right? He's not our martyr. As much as we give Pac passes, and he has some more real stuff to say than Biggie did, he's still not our martyr. Matter of fact, a lot of the beef with Biggie and Pac are based off of lies that Pac admittedly said to make sure part of it. He didn't necessarily like Biggie, but he also was he knew he could make money off the beef. But we just go, well, this and that, and we look past it. Now, I don't have a heaven and hell to put any other men. They got to stand before the Most High themselves. That being said, though, let's call out bad behavior, wicked behavior. If I got to call out the things that I'm doing, if I got to call out when I mess up in the dietary law or something like that, if I got to call out if we're removing the leaven from our home and I'm eating something that got leaven, then I got to say, oh, I'm sorry. If we're picking and parceling and stuff like that, then we should do it all together. Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word out of the mouth of Yah. And if you're living by somebody's word who's not out of the mouth of Yah, you better learn how to compartmentalize, or you better learn how to just, if you can't do it, leave it alone. Right? We out here giving out passes because persons sound great. No, if you're wrong, you're wrong. And if it's tearing us up, it's tearing us up. Right? Look at even I'm trying to like, here's something like, now this is an old song, but here's something lyric wise. Now this is positive. This Yasin Bey, Most Def, stuff that they won't put on and you got to look for. But this is stuff, even if you want to say he don't believe what you believe, yada, 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 at least it's something, if you're going to listen to it, listen to something that's giving you game and that's helping us out to see what's really going on, right? Most Def, right? This is mathematics, right? Mathematics, or do the maths, right? Mathematics, right? So yo, check it. 1 for Charlie Hustle, 2 for Steady Rock, 3 for the forthcoming live future shot. Yeah, right. It's 5. It's 5 dimensions, 6 senses, 7 firmaments of heaven and hell, 8 million stories to tell. Planets faithfully keep in orbit with the probable 10th. The universe expands length. The body of my text possess extra strength. Think about that, right? That in and of itself, whole different mindset. Even if you don't know where you're going as far as religion, stuff like that, hey, we talking about, think about the lyric, that's bars. The body of my text possess extra strength. Power lift the powerless up out of this towering inferno. Like, they're not promoting stuff like that. We don't go back to stuff like that. We don't put that stuff up. We don't honor things like that, right? But power lift the powerless up out of this towering inferno. My ink so hot it burned through the journal. That's just a bar. Praise you. That's just a bar. I'm blacker than midnight on Broadway and Myrtle. You got to know about Broadway and Myrtle, right? But I'm Blacker Than Midnight on Broadway and Myrtle. Hip hop past all your tall social hurdles, like the nationwide projects, prison industry complex. Working class poor, better keep your alarm set. Streets too loud to ever let freedom ring. That's one of my favorite bars of all time, by the way. I love that bar. Streets too loud to ever let freedom ring. Say evacuate your sleep. It's dangerous to dream. For cha-ching, cats get the chapow. You dead now. Killing fields need blood to graze the cash cow. It's a number game, but don't add up somehow. Like I got 16 to 32 bars to rock it, but 69 billion, I'm sorry, but only 15% of profits ever see my pockets. Like $69 billion of the last 20 years, this is an old song, 69 billions of the last 20 years spent on national defense, but folks still live in fear. Like nearly half of America's largest cities in one quarter is 1/4 black. That's why they gave Ricky Ross all the crack. 16 ounces to a pound, 20 or more to a key, a 5-minute sentence hearing, and you no longer free. Like this is stuff that frees your mind. But they had to tell you that he's crazy and he just went to Africa and he's a bad person and all that. This is something that's freeing. This is something at least bare minimum you're gonna have a positive conversation about. We got to see what's going on here. We got to catch this. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Right? A 5-minute sentence hearing, and I'm sorry, 16 ounces to a pound, 20 more to a key, a 5-minute sentence hearing, and you no longer free. 40% of Americans own a cell phone, so they can hear everything that you say when you ain't home. I guess Michael Jackson was right. You are not alone. Rock your hard hat black, because you in the terror dome. Full of hard N-words, large N-words, dice tumblers. Young teens in prison greens facing life numbers, crack mothers, crack babies, and AIDS patients. Young bloods can't spell, but they can rock you at PlayStation. Right? I'm just this is somebody telling you what's coming and what we're in. But this is not going to be something that's going to be there because, and even though I wouldn't say Mos Def is my leader, but that dang sure is better to hear somebody telling you what's going on like that. Right? The new math is whipping mother ass. Well, I'll just say it. Whipping mother efforts ass. You want to know how to rhyme? You better learn how to add. It's mathematics. Right? Next verse, right? Verse 2. Yo, it's one universal law, but two sides to every story. 3 strikes and you bidden for life, mandatory. 4 MCs murdered in the last 4 years. I ain't trying to be the 5th when the millennium is here. I'm just right. When the millennium is here, yo, it's 6 million ways to die from the 7 deadly thrills. 8-year-olds getting found with 9 mils. It's 10 p.m. Where's your seed at? What's the deal? He's on the hill pumping krills to keep their bellies filled. Light, forgive me, I'm gonna say the A word. Light in the ass with heavy steel. Sights on the pretty in life. Young soldiers trying to earn the next stripe. When the average minimum wage is $5.15, you best believe you got to find a new grind to get cream. Cash rules everything around me. All right. The white unemployment rate is nearly more than triple for black. Some frontliners got their gun in your back. Bubbling crack, jewel theft, and robbery to combat poverty and end up in the global jail economy. Stiffer stipulations attached to each sentence, budget cutbacks, but increased police presence. And even if you get out of prison still living, join the other 5 million under state supervision. This is business. No faces, just lines and statistics from your phone, your zip code to SSI digits. The system break man, child and woman into figures. 2 columns for who is and who ain't N-words. Numbers is hard and real, and they never have feelings. But you push too hard, even numbers got limits. Why did the straw break the camel's back? Here's the secret. The million other straws underneath it. It's all mathematics. Ain't nobody, right? That's one of the greatest that's one of the greatest lyrics, set of lyrics ever. Especially if we're talking about coming out the system. And you're not gonna catch any of that. Right? They tell you persons who rap about that, oh man, they even remember part of the beef with Drake. Oh man, Kendrick Lamar, he doesn't make as many bangers, even though he's winning Grammys and all this other stuff. But he don't make as many bangers. His music doesn't slap as hard. He's too lyrical. So you're saying that you want somebody that doesn't make you think. You just want to dance and get the whatever they're saying that doesn't matter pumped into your system. Something wrong. This is the mindset that a lot of persons are carrying. Something wrong. Right? There's positive stuff out there, right? Right. This is kind of older. I know people act like if it came out 2 weeks ago, then it's like 75 years old. But I'm gonna look for. We were actually listening to this on the shout out today. What is that? KRS-One, Crazy, right? KRS-One, Crazy, and the lyrics, right? Look at the message. Something that a lot of persons don't even know about, haven't even listened to. It was put on. Matter of fact, I won't say so low because he's one of the greats. For me, he top 5, right? But I guess we'll say he's suppressed. So you got to look hard. It's actually part of a movie that was an independent movie done and kind of a cult, kind of sort of a cult classic. You have to go and watch the movie. Not even that great, but that it's known basically at the end for getting him into a studio or whatever, and that's kind of how it is. But he says this, right? He's Chris is the pharaoh with the bow and arrow. We double the barrel, gorilla apparel. The mightiest pharaoh don't think of battle. And my lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting immaculate, the actual factual front to the back of you, clapping and cracking and hacking the Mac for you. Look at them, laugh at you. I can't do it as fast as he does, but if I do it faster anyways, you might not be able to understand on lyrics, right? Lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting with the now, you see what I am teaching. Your mind I am reaching with all that I'm teaching. That love and that peace, and it never will weaken. The truth I am speaking is crazy. Truth I am speaking, get used to repeating. The youth I am reaching with proof of this teaching. I speak for a reason so they can believe in the truth of MCing. It's crazy. Cracking the back of these rappers. I'm passing these actors. I'm faster. Spitting metal netter. Think about it now. Spitting metal netter, ripping clubs forever. We becoming better, spreading love forever. Crazy. You hearing the pro. I'm spitting the flow that you know. Higher level thinking I am to show. Knowledge of self is a thing you must know. You see what they playing. They steady betraying the culture we making, exploiting and taking. You look at them faking what we are creating. That now you mistaken what's real and what's faking. This thing they do for the money they making, they sell out our people, their culture, their nation, sell out their soul for a radio station so they could be playing in heavy rotation. You see what I'm saying? Our culture they taking, but that's not enough. It's our spirit they breaking, and only the culture can see what I'm saying, because only the culture will see them betraying. You see what they playing, you see what they saying, and you see, and you cannot see us, our people they slaying. Well, maybe you do, and then maybe you don't, and maybe you will, and then maybe you won't. But it's our community that's who's at hope of Greek. I'm sorry, it is our community that's who's of hope of. The greed and the crime and the police are choking. The TV is playing they oakley dope while our people are dying. You seeing them choke with that cheating and lying. They telling our people now I'm sorry. Now this is their hope. But did anything with that? But did anything change with the last vote? The time before that, did we pass something? All we've been getting is chapter 11, while racists with weapons are shooting our reverends. A message from heaven with all that you get understanding, overstanding this lesson with all the blinging and cash that you getting, you stumble for sure. It's the poor you neglecting, the thieves and the liars, they all in your section. I'm bringing my people in different directions. Study of society, right? That's lyric, right? But you're not going to see that pushed up. You're not going to see us say, hey, we need to make sure KRS is lifted up. That's our guy. That's one of us. Even if you don't believe everything we're saying, although if you study KRS-One, you know that he's very famously has a project in which he makes sure that he talks about that we are the children of Israel. Right? But he's telling you the real. But they're not going to promote that, right? If anybody should be, and I don't even look at KRS-One, although he has a lot of great stuff to say, I don't look at him as a leader. But if we're going to listen to somebody, he should be the one. He should be one of them ones. He should be top 5 just because of that. If he don't listen to nothing else, that by himself is better than just about anything else you've ever heard pen to paper. As far as lyrically, I ain't saying that it's about, even though the crazy verse is crazy. It is about, right? Like the beat is phenomenal. How you doing, Minister Yourself? Right? Let's go to the next verse. I know we reading some stuff because I've been talking negative. I want to show you there's some positive, but I want to show you they're not trying to give us some stuff. This is just reading verses, right? Yo, so here goes another, my sisters and brothers. It's obvious KRS ain't like these others. I've been out the bed while they under the covers. I spit off their head while they babble and stutter. Not 3 and not 2, but the 1 is my number. I'm spitting my written. I tour every summer. With every year, I get younger and younger, but some want to doubt and continue to wonder. It's crazy. They continue to blunder. It's crazy. They continue to slumber. What I'm teaching is what I'm expressing. I'm teaching the streets that the mind is a weapon. Like anything you can perceive in perception, it's what you will manifest all in your section. It's crazy. Set up your own direction. Crazy. Don't get caught up on complexion. It crazy. That this is the reason I'm spitting and books getting written, because you be forgetting. It's crazy. That's power. That's power. That's powerful right there. But we are not taught to uplift that. Why? Because KRS went and got changed. We aren't taught to uplift that. Why? Because he didn't stream 400 million. Right? We're not taught to uplift that because the persons who are in charge of the music industry, who don't want you to think independent of them. That's what independent is. Think independent of the system. They don't want you to think independent of that and even think interdependent with Yah. But that's powerful right there. That's something that every child, and by the way, if you notice with KRS-One, there were no curse words in there. He does curse from time to time, but there are no curse words in there because he wants this to be something that your little baby can get. I mentioned the other KRS-One. I got to remember, right, what the name of the song is, because I always be trying to call it The Children of Israel. I know that's not the song. I don't know why I be forgetting the hook. KRS-One. Why is that? Why is that, right? You just looking, I just want you to see there's persons we should uplift. And yeah, I know I'm coming old school. It is what it is. I guess I'm getting up in age, but I'm trying to show you there's persons out there, not necessarily, I don't agree with everything Lecrae is about, but there's a Lecrae out there too, right? There's some persons out there that you can listen to, right? Hold on, let me see. So many of y'all heard this before, but I'm gonna just go ahead and speak it anyways. The day begins with a grin and a prayer to excuse my sins. I mean, this. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's like, yo, I don't comprehend why we don't make it where we're always like everything's garbage, is blah blah. We need to really like look at this stuff and see, that there's some people out here that we should be supporting rather than some of this trash that we just put out here. Or we just randomly go right. I'm not saying I'll never have a nostalgia moment, but I'm saying there's some cats out here that and some songs out here, if you want to get some stuff in there that's revolutionary and stuff, we forget about Chuck D. There's some people that'll get what's his name? He rough Latino cat. I mean, he black. He black. Don't mind saying he black, but Latino cat. What's his name? I see his face and everything. He rough to listen to. Immortal Technique. That's another one. You want to listen to somebody? He gonna be rough. But if you want to listen to somebody that got something you need to hear and you need to get educated on, Immortal Technique, right? But anyways, so watch this. So the day begins with a grin and a prayer to excuse my sin. I can walk anywhere I choose because everybody listens to the BDP crew. Okay, we're not here for glamour or fashion. But here's the question I'm asking: why isn't young black kids taught black? They're only taught how to read, write, and act. It's like teaching a dog to be a cat. You don't teach white kids to be black. Why is that? Is it because we're the minority? Well, black kids, follow me. I'm just quoting. I know we're not kids. I know we don't have kids, but I'm just quoting. Well, black kids, follow me. Genesis chapter 11, verse 10. explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Y'all know this part, right? Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons for real. And these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, Egyptians descended from Ham. 600 years later, my brother, read up. Moses was born in Egypt. In this era, black Egyptians weren't right. They enslaved black Israelites. Moses had to be of the black race because he spent 40 years in Pharaoh's place. He passed as the Pharaoh's grandson, so he had to look just like him. Yes, my brothers and sisters, take this here song. Yo, correct the wrong. The information we get today is just whack, but ask yourself, why is that, right? Now, I know this old and stuff like that, but I'm trying to show you that the things that we should value and the things that are there, they right there. This is hip hop. Now, I'm not saying we don't really have full ownership or control of hip hop. They put out a lot of persons who are paid money, right, Balaam doctrine, to ensure that they are anti-us and anti-themselves, right? That's this song called Why is that? I'll play Why Is That when we leave. We'll do it for the shout out. We'll play it on the shout out on TikTok, right? Right. But we don't talk about this stuff. How you doing, Brother Vincent? But this is stuff that's right there. We only go, oh, there's nothing, and they can't do this and all this stuff, blah, blah. Right? We forget Tennessee. Y'all remember? Right? Take me to another. Y'all remember that? Right? You can listen to that. That's not going to be promoted that much. It's only going to last for so long. Even some stuff, look, this straight up, and now this got cursing and stuff in it. But shoot, I ain't gonna hold you. Mess around with I'll pull their lyrics up. I'll be fair, let's go. I'm only doing hip hop right now. This kind of sort of hip hop, but I'm about to pull up. But what about I always forget the name of the group. But Bulls on Parade. What's the name of that group? Rage Against the Machine. Right? This is stuff that's right there. And this is stuff that actually could have shaped the minds and hearts. And they found a way to get that group to split up. You do some research, right? But look, so here are the lyrics. The microphone explodes, shattering the molds. Ether dropped the hits like De La Q. Get the off the commode. With the sure shot, sure to make your bodies drop. Drop and don't copy, drop call this co-op. Terror reigns drenching, quenching the thirst of the power dons. That 5-sided fistagon, the Pentagon, right? The rotten sore on the face of Mother Earth gets bigger. The trigger's cold, empty your purse, right? Rally around your family with a pocket full of shells. That used to be the jam right there. I still listen to that from time to time. I'm sorry, y'all have to pray for me, right? Weapons, not food. The second verse, crazy. Weapons, not food, not homes, not shoes, not me, just feed the war cannibal animal. I walk the corner to the rebel that used to be a library. Line up to the mine cemetery now. Like that, them bars right there, timeless, right? Weapons, not food, not homes, not shoes, not need, just feed the war cannibal animal. I walk the corner to the rebel that used to be a library. Line up to the mine cemetery now, right? What we don't know keeps the contracts alive and moving. They don't got to burn the books. They just remove them. Y'all talking about burning books. They ain't got to burn books. You just take them out. You just remove them. While arms warehouses fill as quick as the cells, rally around the family, pocket full of shells. I mean, that stuff that's not going to last, right? And that some of that stuff is stuff that your babies need to hear when they have age, right? But they need to hear some of that stuff. That this is not a new thing. This is something that's presented to them, especially through music. I've never heard anybody talk about that. Nobody in music is talking about doing this, that, or whatever. nobody's yeah, this has been the thing for a long time, but the longer it is and the persons who have control over it, they're getting rid of more and more of it because your mind needs to be controlled. If you think that you need to be against the machine, why would you support the music from the machine? That's why it's Rage Against the Machine. Problem is, though, is that the persons who distributed Rage Against the Machine are the machine. At a certain point, the machine gonna take care of that, right? Jamiroquai, another style of music, right? This is old. I'm coming up with old stuff. I'm an old fogey, I guess, whatever it is, right? Right? Hell is a wonder man can eat it all when things are big, right? Hell is a wonder man can eat it all when things are big that should be small. Who can tell what magic spells we'll be doing for us? And I'm giving all my love to this world, only to be told, right? Y'all heard that before, right? Later on in the song says, and now every mother can choose the color of her child. That's not nature's way, right? But we don't want to hear that. He's telling you this stuff. And what's the hook? Futures made of virtual insanity always seem to discover that this love we have for useless twisting, popping new technologies. For now, there is no self, right? For we all. Okay. So I'm just saying these are things that they got rid of this stuff. They're getting rid of it. You're not supposed to listen to that. We're not supposed to talk about it. Matter of fact, it's gotten even sadder because it used to be, even though I'm going to be honest, we kind of did, we treat gospel music, urban gospel music, we treat Christian music, etc. But we treat it like but look, even that message got watered down. That's why these music leaders, you shouldn't be surprised when Fred Hammond does what he does to his wife. Or Marvin Sapp gets up and starts preaching and starts telling the preachers that are in his congregation, y'all ain't gonna preach up here. Or when Donnie McClurkin, I'd be messing his name up, sorry. Or when Kirk Franklin says the lion and the lamb would lay down with the goat. Or when they start doing stuff and they're gonna say, yeah, Cardi, come on over here and do a praise and worship song. When Cardi is over here telling y'all that B words don't need men anymore, and her and her husband are cheating on each other. We get on the guy, but we forget that while she was pregnant, she was having sex with an NBA player. Sexy Red coming to y'all schools, and nobody checked out to see who she was, and then thought she was smelling like weed. That was the least of the concerns. Then she runs outside, and all the children out the school run after her during school so they can watch her twerk on top of her car. This ain't new. This is the same spiritual battle. You're just more exposed to it and then bolder with it. And the persons who make money, once again, they believe. See, I'm gonna say this and then we'll take our leave for the night. Right. But these can't be our leaders. And here's the bottom line: not just only if we want to go there, Ashkenazi persons, etc., are leading this charge and telling them what to do, or the ones giving them money or telling them how to get this stuff distributed. We shouldn't just only get caught up in that. Thank you, Auntie Mary. We shouldn't just get caught up in that, right? We also have to realize that these persons aren't leaders because they're trying to sell. Who are they selling to? I'm going to say this again. Don't miss this as we get ready to take our leave, and then I'll play the the song that somebody was asking about. Why is that? We'll make sure we play that song. We'll do a little shout out in the evening. I know we don't normally do one, but we'll let that one go. Matter of fact, we'll do Why Is That, and we'll go ahead and do Crazy. We did Crazy earlier this rising for the shout out, but I just don't miss what Holy Spirit had us address there, right? They are trying to sell. Who are they trying to sell to? Yes, next generation, of course. But I'm talking about watch this. Who do you think buys the majority of hip hop? You said Bulls on Parade. I don't know. Well, you know what? How about this? I'll play three. I can't keep playing every song we're talking about, but I'll play three songs, right? Bulls on Parade, I'll make the third song. I'll let you guys know. Bulls on Parade gonna have a bunch of cussing on it. I'll try to find a clean version, but they don't really exist. If you play a clean version, it's gonna mess up. It messes up the track. They don't have the word taken out. They just stop it, pause it, and then they go to another side, and it's never right on rhythm. The ones that I found. So if you want to listen to Bulls on Parade, I'm just letting you know there's gonna be some cussing. So that'll be song number 3 if you want to stick around for that one, just so you can hear what we're talking about. We're gonna do it on TikTok only. I can't play it on YouTube, right? So if you want to come over to TikTok for the shout out, feel free, all right? So you can hear what we're talking about. But basically, the last thing that we're gonna take our leave after this, right? You got to recognize this. They're trying to sell. Who are they trying to sell to? Your people do not buy the majority of music. You make the majority of it. You influence the majority of it. There's more of you on the earth than there are the persons who buy it, but you do not buy the majority of music, meaning that they're not, amen, facts, Bruder. So that means that they're not selling to you. They're selling what they think you are or what they want you to present it as to others. Yeah, we can't even afford it like that. I'm gonna say it again because persons miss this. The music that's being promoted is what somebody else has chosen that you in racism, white supremacy should be, and they sell it to other persons who have believed the hype. I used to have a friend of mine when I was in middle school or high school. Could have been high school. I feel like we were freshmen, something like that, freshmen, sophomores in high school, somewhere around there. But could have been middle school. I think it was high school. And he was from Nigeria. And he came over. He said when he came over, he was shocked when he came to America. You know why? He said because in his mind, he thought that he was going to walk into a Biggie video. That's all he knew about America. All he knew was there was black folk over there, and everybody was living like Biggie, and everything was a video, and there was just naked women everywhere. He thought he was going to leave and come into America, and he was going to come off the plane, and he was going to step foot, and everybody's going to be, you know very well who you are. That's what he thought. And he was like, oh. He was like, it's not like here, like that over here. And y'all really don't have power over here like that either. And this and that. But that's in his mind. That's how powerful this stuff is. Somebody sells it to everybody else, and then you see it, or your diaspora sees it, and swears that it's completely different than what you're seeing. And what you should be, and certain values you should uphold are always the things you should uphold. And somebody putting that stuff out, they're putting something that's a negative image of you, and also as an impossible image. Because how many persons in life, even if they want to live that, how many persons in life will ever be able to be in a music video? Even if you're rich, even if you're filthy rich. I don't even like that term, filthy rich. Even if you make more money, there's filthy persons that are rich, right? But I don't really believe in filthy rich. But that being said, even if you make it to that level, how many persons are really going to ever make it to the level of being in a music video where there's video vixens and there's champagne everywhere and everybody's wearing the freshest of clothes and everybody's wearing clothes that were actually bought by the company that's trying to do stuff, and there's a director put in place, and food is being given to everybody who's showing up. There's very few persons in life who will ever be able to experience such a thing. This is why they can't be our leaders, because they're not even real leaders, and the persons who are they're putting in front of us are the persons that they want us to be, as the way they want us to be projected to society. That's why Will and Jada were promoted to you as a couple that everybody wanted to be. And the whole time, if you were paying attention, the whole time you knew that they had multiple partners. The whole time you knew that Will Smith was dirty the way he even got with Jada. The whole time you knew that Jada kept telling you that she loved Tupac, who was in the grave. Whole time. While Tupac was going up with Madonna and going up with this one and going up with that one, and while she was doing this and doing this and doing this, but that was supposed to be real love. You were searching for a real love, but that wasn't real. So, anyways, love you all to life. We'll continue this series, but not tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we will have no live session at 8 p.m. Eastern New York time, because tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern New York time, we'll be on Zoom. The music will begin. And at 9 p.m. Eastern New York time, we're going to get it in. Watch night service as we get ready to transition and stay. We're going to finish strong, but we're going to transition from expect the blessing. We're going to keep that in mind, but we're going to transition over to what? We're going to transition over to hashtag a safe place. So I'm excited. We've sent out some stuff. We got some babies that are ready to go and help tomorrow. We got some ministerial staff that's going to give us some word. We got some music that's going to be played or sung, etc. And so it's going to be a long time. It's going to be 3 hours, but it's worth it. We give y'all praise. And at the end of it, we're going to pray. We're going to do our thing. So we're not going to really pay attention to when it, we're not going to do a countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We're going to pray into the new year as though our ancestors, our Negro ancestors even, would have done on Watch Night. So we're excited. If you've never done a Watch Night before, prayerfully, you guys tune in. Those of you who've done with us before, it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more powerful, and we're excited about what Yah has for us. Ministerial staff and everybody on there, whatever you've been asked to do, we're going to ask you, please, please, ma'am, please, sir, be aware of the time. And I'm just going to say it in advance. I'm just going to be real, right? The time I try to give specific times, we might be able. Oh, thank you for the love. I might give specific times, or given specific times, we might be able to expand things. But I'm gonna be the I guess the MC as well as the final speaker and lead us into prayer at the end of the night, because time-wise, we got a lot to do and a little bit of time. All right. So whatever your time is, we're going to ask that you try to be obedient, even if we have more time or whatever. If you got 10 minutes, you got 10 minutes. If you got 5 minutes, you got 5 minutes. The babies actually should have their stuff done in a shorter amount of time than they have, which might give us a little bit of time. I know we've been given some ask, hey, can we add this in here, or do this, or do this? That's why I responded the way I did, maybe with a question, with a dot, and a question mark for those who ask. But we got to make sure we get everything together, because we're going to be praying into the new year, and we're not going to stop at 12. We're going to open up the lines and we're going to pray together, and we're going to pray like not only we still hashtag expect the blessing, but we're going to pray like we are praying in a safe place, and things that we're looking for, asking for, we're believing for, are going to happen in a dynamic fashion, exactly the way that Yah's been telling us. And we're going to believe, even if our situation physically doesn't look like what it is. If Yah told us this is what we're supposed to have, we're going to pray, and we're going to give thanks. We're going to pray for each other. We're going to lift up family members. We're going to lift up the truth, and we're going to do so all as long as it takes till Holy Spirit says we stop. So yes, I know it's late. Going to be late for some, right? I try not to abuse the fact that some of you might have to do jobs and works in the rising and stuff like that. I got to get up and do a live session on Wednesday, even though Wednesday's during on my day off. So I get it. We got to start on the first and start off well and start off on time and all that. But we're asking you guys be ready to go. Praise and worship music will start at 8:30 p.m. Eastern New York time tomorrow. So 30 minutes prior to the start, the music will start, so you can come on a little early. Once again, we have all the stuff on all the platforms. I will try to put it out again on all the platforms and text it if I can, to make sure everybody has it. But everybody should have the information, all that great stuff. And we're thankful and grateful to each and every one of you for participating. All right. So praise Yah. We're thankful. We're grateful. Ministerial staff, don't forget we got a meeting on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern New York time. First one of the month. So first one of the year. Important one. And everybody, we're looking at having an SOC community meeting at 2:00 p.m. Eastern New York time on Saturday. And at 7 p.m. Eastern New York time, Brothers Men's Ministry meeting. First one of the year. Amen. Amen. All right. Love you all to life. You all take care. We give our honor and praise as always to the Most High, Yahavah Elohim. We give our praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Amma, who lives a life that's able to be honored. As always, you can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. Love you all to life. We hope that you guys continue to take care and do great things. We shall see you tomorrow in the Rising. And remember, no evenings live session, because we'll be on Zoom 8:30 for the music, 9 New York time for the service itself. Love you all to life. Take care. Remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom. Harayashan Shalom. If you're going by the Israelite calendar, new moon just happened tonight. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Now remember, I said we're gonna listen to 3 songs. If you're with us on TikTok, we'll listen to 3. Third song's gonna have cussing in it, but we'll